All right, everyone, ready to dive in. Today we're tackling something that pops up everywhere, leadership.
Everywhere you look, right?
Exactly.
Mhm.
But we're ditching the usual buzzwords and going academic on this one. We're talking about how the whole field of leadership studies is transforming. It's not just about the hero leader anymore.
Yeah, that whole great man theory is so outdated.
Totally. It's all about relationships now, which is fascinating. We're diving into some serious research on this.
This isn't just motivational speaker stuff.
Nope. We've got Pulitzer-nominated books in the mix. We're talking Gene Lippman-Blumen, Connective Leadership, that ring a bell.
Oh, absolutely. Groundbreaking work. And for good reason. It challenges so many assumptions.
Lay it on us then. What's the core idea here?
So Lippman-Blumen argues that the world's gotten so complex, globalization, technology, everything's intertwined. Leaders need a wider range of skills to handle it all.
Can't just be the one-trick pony leader anymore, huh?
Exactly. She calls them achieving styles, basically. Yeah, people approach goals differently. And knowing your style and those of your team is huge.
Okay, achieving styles. Sounds kind of like personality test territory, but I'm intrigued. Break it down for us. What are some examples?
Sure. So she's got 9 distinct styles. Like you've got intrinsic leaders, always got to be mastering something, always improving. Then there's social leaders, all about connection, building relationships to get things done.
Hmm. I can see how those would be really different approaches, even with the same goal in mind.
Right. And it's not saying one's better. It's about having the right tool for the job.
Oh, I like the leadership toolkit.
Mhm.
So it's about being adaptable, not just fitting into one box.
100%. And recognizing that on a team, you're going to have a mix of these styles, which can be amazing
Oh.
or a total mess if you're not careful.
Okay, yeah, now we're getting to the good stuff. It's not just me being a good leader, it's how my style interacts with everyone else's.
You've got it. And that takes us deeper into the weeds, because this next model we're looking at really tackles that collective leadership idea.
All right, lead the way. I'm ready for the next level. The relational leadership model kind of has a textbook ring to it, doesn't it?
Yeah. Well, you know what they say? Truth is stranger than fiction. It's probably huge in those leadership development courses, even if most people haven't heard of it directly. The whole point is that leadership doesn't just come from one person like it's some kind of superpower. It's about the connections between people in a group.
So like the opposite of those group projects we all dreaded in school, where one person ends up doing everything.
Yeah. Well, picture the ideal group project, everyone contributing, but not because there's a strict plan. This model, it talks about 5 big ideas: purposeful, inclusive, empowering, all that good stuff. But they all boil down to how the group works together, not just what they're trying to achieve.
So less I'm the boss and more let's figure this out together.
Nailed it. And this is where that whole constructionist perspective comes in. Think about building something like, I don't know, a house. You've got the foundation, the walls, it all fits together. Leadership's like, it gets built up through all the interactions, who has power, the different backgrounds everyone brings in, all of it.
Hold on, are you saying good leaders aren't born, they're made by the people around them? That's kind of radical.
Kinda, yeah. Think about a time you were on a team and it just worked. Everyone on the same page, stuff got done. Was it because there was this amazing leader? Or was it more about how everyone interacted, how ideas were shared, how decisions were made even?
Okay, you're making me think of my old debate team. Our captain was good, sure, but it was how we all bounced ideas off each other, how we had each other's backs even when we disagreed.
Mm.
Maybe that was the real magic.
Boom. There's your relational leadership in action. It's not that individual skills don't matter, it's just the really impactful leadership. That comes from how strong those connections are. And, fair warning, this is where we start getting into the really out there stuff.
Out there, how so? We've already got leadership as a group project and a construction site.
This is next level. We're talking about the nature of knowledge itself, how identity plays into it,
Yeah.
all tangled up with leadership in ways you might not expect.
All right, you've officially hooked me. Hit me with it. Philosophical, huh? Are we talking full-on Plato and Socrates about what it means to lead?
Well, maybe not ancient Greece level, but we are going to dig into some big ideas. This is where things get postmodern, you could say.
Postmodernism. Okay, there's a word I haven't heard in a while. College flashbacks, anyone. But how does that even relate to leadership, though?
Right. It's a whole thing. But basically, it's like reality itself is messy, always changing, right? Can't separate leadership from that mess. No perfect model's going to cut it. It's more about understanding how leadership actually plays out, with all its complications.
So less about having all the answers as a leader, more about being okay with the gray areas.
Exactly. And that can be tough, especially because we're so used to those traditional models trying to make everything neat and tidy.
Right, like if we just follow the rules, bam, leadership success. But real life's not that simple.
Exactly. And that's why relational leadership, it goes deeper. It's got these 3 core ideas that embrace the messiness.
Okay, hit me with these ideas then. Let's embrace the mess.
First one, we got to shift our focus. It's not about individual leaders anymore. It's about the holy network of relationships.
Okay, so less me leading you, more like
Yeah.
we're all connected and influencing each other even if we don't realize it.
Bingo. Like that saying, it takes a village. But instead of raising a kid, it's navigating all the challenges of leading together. And that takes us to the second big idea, knowledge. See, in relational leadership, knowledge about leadership, it's not fixed, it's constantly being made and remade through those relationships.
So no more leadership playbook we can just memorize.
Nope. Got to stay open to new ideas, new ways of thinking, because those relationships are always evolving, right? And this is where it gets really wild. The third idea.
All right, wild idea number 3, bring it on. We're already knee-deep in the postmodern wilderness here.
So this one's kind of radical. Leadership becomes a property of the whole system, not of individuals.
Hold up. Property of the system. That sounds like, I don't know, we're all plugged into the Matrix or something. Is leadership some invisible force field now?
I know, right? It's a mind bender for sure. But think of it like this. Every system, whether it's your team at work or your whole company or even society, they all have their own way of working, right? Their own culture, their own power struggles, all that. And that stuff, it influences how leadership happens, what form it takes. Not that individuals don't matter, but their actions, their influence, it's all happening within that bigger picture.
Okay, I think I'm starting to get it. It's like, I could be a great leader, but depending on the system I'm in, it's going to play out totally differently.
Exactly. And sometimes those systems, they need to change too, but that's a whole other deep dive.
Sign me up for that one. For real, this has been incredible. I feel like I've gone through Leadership 101, 201, and 301 all in one go, but it's a lot to process. For listeners who are hopefully just as blown away by this as I am, what's the one thing you want them to take away?
If there's just one thing that sticks with you after today, it's this. Leadership isn't about fitting into some box, some perfect mold. It's about truly understanding how powerful relationships are and getting comfortable with the fact that it's messy, it's complex, and that's okay. There's no finish line. It's something we're all figuring out together all the time.
Beautifully said. And for everyone listening, here's my 2 cents. Think about a leadership challenge you're facing right now. Big or small, doesn't matter. But what if, instead of stressing about how you can fix it, you look at it through the lens of relationships? What if the answer isn't inside you, but in those spaces between you and the people around you? Keep exploring those connections. Keep asking the tough questions, because that's where real lasting change comes from. And that's a wrap on this deep dive into relational leadership. Until next time, keep learning, keep growing, and most importantly, keep connecting.